If there's ever a true crime case that you remember, let it be this one. Over a period of 3 hours after Denise Amber Lee was kidnapped, 5 911 calls were made, including one by Denise herself using her abductor's phone, but police still didn't get there in time. Denise was 21 years old and a mom of 2 young boys when she was kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and murdered by Michael King in Florida on January 17, 2008. That day, Denise was at home with her kids while her husband was at work. They last spoke on the phone at 11:21 a.m. where she mentioned she was going to open some windows because the weather was nice. When her husband got home from work, he found all of the windows were closed, Denise was nowhere to be found, and their 2 young kids were by themselves in a crib. He called the police a little after 3:30 p.m., and that was the first phone call of the day related to this case. A neighbor came forward and stated that they saw a green 1994 Camaro leave the house at around 2 p.m., which was later tracked back to Michael King. Michael was married at the time, had been unemployed for several months, and was facing foreclosure on his Northport home. Michael had broken into Denise's home, kidnapped and tied her up, and drove her around for hours, which many people witnessed. He then took her back to his home where he sexually assaulted her. He then drove her to his cousin's home where he borrowed a shovel, a gas can, and a flashlight. During this time, Denise was able to call 911 using Michael's phone where she begged for help. She did manage to get out of the car, but was recaptured by Michael. Michael's 13-year-old niece even saw this happening and called police, but by the time they arrived, it was too late. Denise answered the 911 operator's questions while pretending to talk to Michael, but was unable to give an exact location. Police couldn't track the phone call as it was made on a prepaid wireless phone. More 911 calls came in, including one at around 6:30 p.m. from a witness who had heard screaming in a car next to hers at a stoplight. This turned out to be Denise. But that call was completely mishandled and was rerouted to a different 911 system and not relayed to the Northport police who were trying to find Denise. And even though there were 4 police cars within a mile of the car Denise was abducted in, it was too late. Fearing what was about to happen, Denise managed to hide her wedding ring, which she never took off, in Michael's car. She also pulled out her hair and stuffed it into the corner of his car, which she learned from her father, who was a police detective. She was extremely smart and did everything right. But despite how hard she was fighting for her life, Michael shot Denise in the head and buried her in a shallow grave. He was arrested 6 hours later, and her body was found 2 days after that. After finding a huge amount of DNA evidence linking him to the crime, Michael was found guilty of kidnapping and first-degree murder and was sentenced to death. He is currently awaiting execution. Following Denise's murder, the Denise Amber Lee Act was passed by the Florida legislature that provides optional training for 911 operators. Her family is pushing for that to be mandatory, not optional. The Denise Amber Lee Foundation was also created by her husband, which strives for improvement to 911 and public safety systems. Her husband is doing such important work to this day, and I encourage everyone, especially 911 operators, to go to this site and read Denise's story, and see what you can do to help.